Usually when people ask us what we do here, I used to say, have you ever seen Jurassic Park? And I would just talk about the raptors and the dinosaurs. But I think it's a lot more complicated than that.
I guess the most common thing we make is hyper-realistic natural sculptures. So animals, landscapes, dioramas, things like that. Museum quality exhibits. I guess that's probably our strength and the thing we enjoy doing the most. We also do public sculptures. Anything that's made out of fiberglass steel, we use any material. We've made, you name it, we've done it. We've built furniture, we've made signage. We've just designed spaces for people, but I would say our most common thing and the thing we're the best at is hyper-realistic sculptures of animals, dinosaurs, things like that, historical things. The usual way it goes is someone will reach out to us with an email saying, say we have a museum that we'd like to work on a room with you guys or something like that. Are you interested? Yeah, of course we're interested. The first couple meetings with the people that want this project, talking through like the scope of what they're looking for. Sometimes they don't fully know. They just have a budget and they're not really sure what they want. Sometimes they do know what they want, they don't have a budget. So you have to talk through those things. Once we start the design process, knowing how much money the client has to spend really helps, because designing a $6 million project for somebody that only has $20,000 it's a waste of everyone's time. So we usually want to know at least rough numbers just to start working through what they can afford, how much space we can work with, things like that. So we'll usually do some drawings, usually initial drawings, just to see what they like, what they don't like, and then you just keep tightening up those designs from there. So it's usually sketches at first, and we start going into renderings, taking photos of the space, putting renderings over it. We kind of operate in an old school way here, I guess. We still draw with our hands, and we still color with markers. Sometimes we still use computers too, but nothing beats using all those raw materials. We're still faster with those. We still sculpt with our hands. Sometimes we'll do scale models, quick sculpture, so that the client can actually hold it or walk around it and see what they're actually going to get. You can look at a computer screen of a 3D model. It's not the same thing. Once everything's signed off on, we can start making the full-scale sculptures. If we're working on the information, we'll start working on that as well. We usually like to come up with a story for the space. That's actually one of the first things we do before we actually start really getting into the design, trying to come up with a flow of what you're supposed to see when you first walk in, what you're supposed to learn in the experience, and what you're supposed to walk away with. So we usually try to do that with almost every single project, whether the client asks for it or not. It makes everything easier for us doing it that way. So me and Doug both went to Bowling Green State University at the same time, and we were both in the art school at the same time, but we actually didn't know each other or meet each other during that time.
We met each other at a company that we used to work for. Actually, we worked there for 10 years together. At first, not together, but then slowly we started working more and more together, him kind of planning out the projects, budgeting, materials, things like that. Me more on the design end. And it got to a point where we were kind of doing everything, and we're like, well, why do we need them? So we kind of jumped off and did it on our own.
Our first big project here that started this business was a donor recognition piece for the Metro Parks of Toledo. It was just a fun log that kids got to play in, and I think that's kind of what the thing that really makes us happy with what we do is making things that kids get to interact with, because that's really what started us in that whole thing too, going to museums and being able to interact with sculptures. And it's nice to when we plan out our projects here, to think about how that's going to stick with a kid.
Yeah, I guess my advice to people that are kind of holding back and wanting to do whatever it is they want to do is, I'd say jump in. Know that it's going to be painful at times, but just persist, and if you're passionate enough about it, it should probably work out.